is mindfulness?
It's a great question because it's so simple that it's almost, as somebody once said, it's much ado about almost nothing. And that almost nothing is something very nuanced and subtle, which is the capacity to be present in the here and now, moment to moment. And that's something that we mostly take for granted. And what we don't realize is that we can actually develop that capacity like a skill, much like fitness. You have a capacity for fitness, but unless you develop that capacity for fitness, it remains kind of dormant and underdeveloped. And then, of course, there are health consequences for being unfit. Similarly, if one doesn't develop the capacity for mindfulness, then you will default into its opposite, which is mindlessness, which is the mode that most people are in without being aware of it. So mindfulness is present moment awareness, moment by moment. And we actually train like fitness in this capacity. We develop it through a particular way of training the mind and the mind-body. And the basic training wheels on the bicycle are paying attention on purpose with a quality of non-judgment and kindness and curiosity. That doesn't mean we lose discernment.
Right.
So the non-judgment implies something about a kind of negative form of judgment. We try and view things the way they are with a deepening level of attention. What is occurring inside our bodies, sensations, for example, what is occurring inside the mind, thoughts and feelings, what is occurring between you and me, between me and the environment. So it's a relational mindfulness as well. The more we attend, the more we are attending to what is occurring in the moment, the more we connected to that, the more enlivened and vitalized we are about that experience. And we also learn about ourselves and what's getting in the way, what's causing us to become stuck.
Now, how do we train ourselves to be mindful in the moment? I know it's really easy to say, but what's the training process like?
There are a number of different training modalities, different forms. Most of the mindfulness practices are thousands of years old. They've derived from a number of the different wisdom traditions. They might be called different things in the different wisdom traditions, and they've moved into a secular context in the last 30 years or so. And most of them are quite familiar to people. We just have to be really cautious about the language. Because as soon as I say the word meditation, it will conjure up something in your mind, and you'll have an idea of maybe a wise man.
Like
exactly, there we go. It's immediate. You'll sit, you have to do something with your hands, and you probably have to be wearing something, or there's to be probably
in a certain position.
Yeah, in a particular, and then you're meditating. Of course, when we talk about mindfulness, it incorporates a practice like meditation, which is taking quiet time to investigate and be quietly with one's own mind. Meditation actually means to attend deeply to what is going on inside. So meditation is a very ancient, venerable practice that is in many traditions, in many cultures across the planet. And mindfulness meditation is one of those techniques that we can increase the capacity for mindfulness. If you meditate every day, or maybe do some stretching in the form of yoga, or you do a practice that's called a body scan, which is becoming attentive to the sensations of your body, that's like going to gym. That is how you develop the fitness. But you know as well that if you're trying to get fit, it's good to go to gym, and then it's also good to walk up the stairs rather than take the elevator.
Right.
It's like, that's mindfulness in everyday life. So I can pay attention, like right now, my attention is quite deeply present here and now, but I'm not meditating per se. It would be a bit of an odd interview, I guess, if my eyes were closed and I sat cross-legged on the counter. You asked questions and I just sat quietly saying nothing. So we have a misperception about what meditation is. Meditation is really about presence. And every and each moment in which we live, irrespective of what we're doing, we can bring attention and presence to that moment, not necessarily when we're sitting quietly, meditating or yogaing. So we try and expand our understanding of mindfulness as a way of being rather than as a technique.
Now, where can anyone in South Africa who wants to practice mindfulness or learn more about it, where can they find someone to help them do that?
There are probably a lot of people doing that I don't know about, and we created the Institute for Mindfulness about 7 or 8 years ago as a hub, if you will, for all matters mindfulness. And we decided after a couple of years that it was too diffuse a goal or a vision. So we now focus exclusively on training and on research. But we do have on our website people who are offering mindfulness-based interventions and who have been trained to do so, available on the website. So if any of your viewers and listeners want to go, they could go to mindfulness.org.za and they can see who's on the list. That mindfulness, by the way, interestingly spelled with one L and two S's. It's not a full mind, mindfulness. That's part of the problem. So just if people plug in mindful with two L's ness, they're going to find something else. I don't know what they'll find, but it will be something else.